What's going on, Classic Buffalo family? It's your boy Ryan, exercising. It's episode 9 of the library. We're talking to my friend Mitch, who, another person from Vintage Indy, another solid guy. We're going to hear about what it's like to decide to go into the Marine Corps and the life that happens around it. Without further ado, let's listen to a wonderful conversation between me and my pal, Mitch. What's going on, Mitch?
How we doing today, guys?
We're going. We are doing it. It is a wonderful Wednesday. That's what we're gonna call it today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my off day for work today, actually.
Ooh,
The
there you
one
go.
off day. We'll take it.
I got off yesterday on my birthday. Oh, not off, but like I got off early, so it was like, oh man, this feels great. What do I do with this extra hour?
Oh yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Do you remember when we first met?
I do remember. I was actually just talking to my roommates about it because I told them I was doing this, and I remember everything that I got.
Gosh, dude, met up at a Walmart.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude. That's
Well,
so
actually, we had met up about 6 months before that, right when I moved to Indy. We met at Clay Terrace. I got an IU flat bill snapback.
Oh my gosh.
The IU sweatshirt, and then also I have it in my closet, the Brickyard 400,
dude,
the inaugural race edition.
That's so nuts. There I went to Cincinnati this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I met another person who had been following me for like 2.5 years.
Okay.
It was just nuts to like be DMing somebody and then never have really met them before, and then I'll be like, oh hi, like, dude, it's just so weird, man. It's just so weird. It's cool, but,
right. Yeah.
But hey, I'm calling to hear about you. So thanks so much for joining. We're kind of we're kicking some steam. So you're not the first episode, but
perfect.
No pressure. But,
yeah, right.
Yeah, so we're gonna just do like timeline just to get started. So, like, did you grow up in Indy? Because I know you're in Indy now, but tell me about just growing up and like where were you? Did you have a small family, big family, all that jazz?
Growing up, grew up in Elkhart, Indiana. If you've ever heard of it,
I've heard of it, but for people who don't, where is it?
So just east of South Bend, Indiana.
Okay.
I grew up about 15, 20 minutes from Notre Dame. So that was always cool growing up. Went to a lot of Notre Dame football games, actually a lot of Notre Dame hockey games. So first of all, that's why Notre Dame gear is about my favorite stuff that I could get.
Yeah.
So a big fan. We got a big game against Georgia coming up. So pretty excited about Saturday.
Are you going to go up to the game?
No, it's actually in Georgia.
Oh, okay. You're still going.
Yeah. Right. I wish. But, growing up in that area was really cool, a lot of fun. Grew up 2 brothers. I'm the middle child, so that's always fun. Little brother lives down here in Indianapolis now. He goes to Marion University, plays tennis there, so that's cool to have him around. Older brother's in the Marine Corps, actually just got out last week, so nice to have him around. So he'll be home for a little while. And basically growing up, great lifestyle, awesome, a lot of fun. Was always big into sports, so that's why I really have like the vintage indie stuff.
That's so cool. Where was your brother? Was he like stationed somewhere?
Yeah, Yuma, Arizona.
Okay.
So southwest, very tip corner of Arizona, and he actually was about 15 minutes from the Mexico border.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was he doing anything with border control, or was he doing like he just happened to be at the base or whatever near there?
Yeah, so he was actually just at the base near there. But he was on the search and rescue team, so he was the crew chief of that helicopter as well. So yeah, he was the top dog.
Dang. Man, that's so cool. My cousin, he's stationed. He's either in Florida or he was in Fargo at one point. So he's in the Air Force.
Very nice.
So
Yeah, he kind of got the short end of the stick with Fargo, but
Right.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of which, you were kind of in the armed forces a little bit, right?
I was. Yeah. I went to the Marine Corps, ended up getting a medical discharge, so I came back here.
Okay. So is that recent?
No, that was about a year and a half ago now.
Okay. All right. What were you doing? Like, were you doing like actual active stuff, or were you just? Because my understanding is a pretty elementary. Like, I know you're either like on the front lines of whatever we need, or like you're kind of either practicing, or you're not even close. You're just like doing the tech stuff, or
right. I was still
you could be doing anything.
I was in boot camp when I got injured.
Okay. Man.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into it?
Basically, I dropped out of college. College wasn't for me. Decided I wanted to just go to work, and then kind of talked to my brother a little bit. Obviously, a big part of it, a lot to do with it. But just seemed like kind of what was right, in a way.
Yeah. Can you get any further in that mindset for me of like people who I've just been always curious, people who are in the armed forces and people who become cops, people who go into the Army, Navy, Marines, all that kind of stuff. Are there certain thoughts that you specifically have where you're like, I really want to protect my country, or I just like, I'm curious what goes through your mind where you're like,
basically what it was for me, my parents asked me the same exact question before I went in. Yeah. And basically my answer to them, as honest as I could have gotten it at the time, was I didn't think that it was fair for me personally. Now, I'm not saying this about other people, obviously, but me personally, I didn't think it was fair that we have people over there doing whatever they have to do, and I'm kind of just sitting here, because you see turmoil on the news. What's going on. The world's not a very good place right now. It's very unsteady. So that's what kind of got my brain ticking a little bit about it.
Yeah. Right. Where are you like at with where we are at as a country? Are you like kind of hopeful? Are you kind of like, this really sucks? Or are you very neutral about it?
There's some good and some bad. I'm curious about the future. I'm wondering what's going on.
Yeah. With the election around the corner, it's kind of we'll just be seeing if it's going to be another 4 years of Donald Trump, or if it's going to be something else.
Right.
Just be curious. I'm not sure how political I want to make the podcast. I have no idea, so I just asked you. But because I have no idea. But anyway, would you want to? Are you able to possibly go back, or is it kind of like a permanent like discharge?
No, I'm basically, I don't know. I've never really asked that question. I'm not sure.
But right now you don't have plans to go back.
No. Okay. No, I like where I'm at right now.
Okay. So, I guess we'll get there. I kind of got sidetracked, but let's keep going with like Elkhart and like growing up there. What's the culture? Is it like, middle of nowhere? Is it right outside South Bend? So you get the city feel. Is it a lot of white people? Is it diverse? Is it, what are we getting here?
Okay. Yeah. So Elkhart, it had its diversity in it, but basically your normal northern Indiana corn towns, a lot of farms, basically what you think of or what somebody would think of when they think of Indiana, basically. A lot of cornfields. But yeah, it was diverse. We had a lot going on there. It was great, small town, little feel. But, the funny thing, I'd never even been to Indianapolis before moving here, 2 hours away from Chicago. We always just went to Chicago. So, but yeah, big sports town, obviously, which was great growing up in. You always had that feel around. Obviously, big Notre Dame fans, everybody. Yeah. So yeah. Played a lot of sports growing up. The high school community was great. Absolutely loved it. One of those small towns that when you think you're in it at the moment, like, man, why would my parents ever come here? I can't wait to get out of here. Everybody knows everybody. And then you move to the bigger city, and Elkhart's not that bad. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't want to be in the city necessarily?
No, I like the city a lot, but maybe later on moving just a little bit outside the city. Definitely not 2 hours from the city being the closest one, but maybe just the suburbs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So obviously sports was probably pretty important to you growing up.
Oh,
Like, did
absolutely.
you so obviously you're also a Notre Dame fan.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming you went to because you mentioned hockey too, right? Like, are you a huge hockey fan?
I'm a huge hockey fan. Wish I would have played hockey growing up. Actually asked my parents if I could, but they said that the games were on Sunday and we had to go to church on Sunday. So yeah. So wasn't able to play hockey. But
Man,
I did
remember
play
that.
I did play lacrosse though. So
Okay.
a close
Yeah.
second. Same concept.
Did you get recruited to play in college?
There was one school that was talking to me about that, but definitely got most of my offers for tennis.
Okay, so let's go there. Your
Okay.
senior year of high school. You're trying to decide, right? Of like
Right.
maybe even junior, like where you want to go. Where
Yeah.
did you go and why did you choose it?
So my original thought, I thought very slightly towards going to the Marine Corps back then. Decided not to do that because started to get some scholarships, some offers from a bunch of different schools. My parents signed me up for a recruiting website.
Okay.
And so got a lot of scholarships from there. So that was really cool. Got to talk to a lot of coaches. Definitely wasn't something I was thinking about until my parents brought up the idea. Because obviously, so my brother was a lot more into the sport. He'd been playing ever since he was about 3 years old. He's a fantastic tennis player. But his mindset was always going to play tennis as long as he can, college and all. So they signed him up. And when they had talked about that, they decided to sign me up too. I didn't even bring it up. So definitely wasn't something I was even thinking. Lettered all 4 years of high school. So that was cool. Probably should have thought about maybe going to college for it. Just never really crossed my mind because I didn't start playing until high school. So definitely something, not an idea I grew up with like my little brother. But basically those started coming in and got a scholarship from Bethel College. I don't know if anybody knows where that's. It's a small private college in Mishawaka. So, but that was just a little too close to home for me. So ended up going to IU East, which is a small IU satellite school in Richmond.
That's way out east. Ohio.
Yeah, about 5 minutes from the Ohio border. So 4.5 hours from Elkhart. So it was a nice distance that I could head, home if I needed to. If I was homesick, I didn't know what I was going to be doing. But yeah, so it was nice not being too far from home. And it was a small school that's probably didn't end up liking the tennis program as much as I thought I would. A lot of politics in tennis. So, and just
really,
a lot of different things. As far as, it was basically the coached one team, one gender team and not the other kind of thing. So definitely not something I enjoyed. And so ended up getting rid of that, just going to school there. And just once I was going to school there, it just wasn't something I was really into. So was going to transfer up to IU South Bend. So same satellite school, just different location. And then about 2 weeks right after I'd scheduled my classes, actually, I decided to move down to Indianapolis instead.
So is that when you went into the Marine Corps?
Yeah. And then, I went into the Marine Corps as soon as I came down here.
Wow. Man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I've just, because I've never had that like desire to serve kind of like that. And I don't know. It's kind of cool where people just that want to do something that most people don't want to do. I think it's cool.
Well, I was actually sitting in class. I had transferred to Ivy Tech instead to go there for a year to get into IUPUI. And, I was sitting in class one day and I was like, I don't want to be here. I was like, I'm not doing this. Cause I had been contemplating joining the Marine Corps. And one day I was just like, what am I doing? I'm not doing this. And I packed up my stuff and I told this to my parents. Their jaws dropped. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have kept a few things out. But, I mean, I grabbed my bag and I left. And then got all that figured out. It was before, so I was able to get my all my money back and everything, be able to cancel my classes, and instantly grabbed my backpack and drove to a random recruiting office up on the north side. And when I got up there, the recruiter looks at me and he goes, "So your brother's in the Marine Corps. The last name sounds familiar."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "My brother's in the Marine Corps. His name's Jake Boyer." And he goes, "I was Jake Boyer's recruiter up in Mishawaka 4 years ago." Or what would have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He just randomly got restationed down here. It was the weirdest thing.
Yes, you're kind of like, this seems a little interesting. Like you're kind of like
a sign.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Man, it's so cool. What was I going to say? I'm curious about when you're sitting in class, because I'm sure that's a very familiar feeling for people where they kind of have that moment where they're like, what am I doing? Like, and then it may or may not be as dramatic where you just kind of leave the room. You're like, I'm out, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure like there's probably some anxiety about that. Where like, should I leave? No, I can't leave and go do this thing because it's the safe thing to do. And what would my parents think? Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that
kind of had an
right?
idea. They had an idea about it already. I had been talking about it. So it wasn't some split second decision that I made at the moment. It was just when I was going to do it. Okay.
Yeah. So, man, what are you doing now?
I'm actually selling cars. I work at Race Filming in Greenwood.
That's right.
Yeah. So if anybody listening needs a car, come talk to me.
Low key though, I'll probably end up selling my car at some point within the next few years.
Fantastic.
So I'll come to you to get my new car because I'm trying to consolidate my resources so I have money to do something big. So
let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, which take a second to talk about. You know, I've just in the background thinking about doing a store. You know, and I have a loan on my car, and so that's also what's keeping me like, well, I got to pay this off first. So once I do that or find a way to kind of sell it, then I'm like, all right, that's another thing that would keep me from, or not keep me from doing something I might want to do. But then also this podcast comes up and I'm like, actually, I've already been like interviewing a bunch of people for it. And I've only posted like 2 episodes and it's like, I'm doing like now for the next 2 weeks, I'm like doing 2 a day.
Nice.
So I'm enjoying every time I'm talking with people because people are being raw, you know, vulnerable and stuff as much as they want. You know, there's no pressure, especially for you, just, you know, talk about whatever you want. But for whatever reason, I'm like, man, I really enjoyed talking and listening to that person. So there's like this all of a sudden, as of 3 weeks ago, like, I know I want to start a store, but then there's this podcast that I'm actually like really enjoy doing. So let's, I don't know. It's like, it's in the back of my mind, but I'm like, what if this podcast thing like keeps, I don't know. But the card thing made me just think of eventually I'm going to probably sell my car. So I'll hook you up, or you'll hook me up.
I got you.
Yeah. Cool, man. So let's talk about what's your favorite part of your job like right now? Do you like, is it the people, you know, you may not love your job, but I'm just curious what your favorite part is.
My favorite part, probably have to say, just getting to talk to people, I guess. You meet so many characters in the car industry, everywhere, you know, employees or customers. So it's definitely it's always interesting.
Yeah. Do you really see it as kind of like a stepping stone, or until like you can figure out what you want to do, or are you kind of just taking it day by day? Like, what's your mindset in this time?
So at this time, taking it day by day, but looking to move into sales in February, full sales. So we'll see how it goes. I'm nervous, but yeah.
What are you nervous about?
You know, nervous with every new job, but basically, you know, it's 100% commission, so it's a big move, big jump.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how the sales are.
So you're not really doing that much right now.
No, so basically I'm a product specialist right now. So what that means is it's something Ray Skillman does. You're a non-commissioned salesman. So you work under a salesman and they kind of train you. So you just work on a salary base instead of commission.
Yeah. Well, in theory, it'd be a promotion, right?
In a way, yeah, but that's basically the product specialist position is supposed to move into a salesman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're not doing that, what do you like to do?
And hang out with my roommates.
Yeah. So you have roommates.
Yeah.
Not just
got 2 roommates.
okay.
Went to high school with both of them. So they moved down here. One goes to IUPY. The other is actually a musician. He's a local musician here. Actually just had a show at a Hotel Tango down on in Fountain Square, if you've ever heard of it. But that was a very cool show.
What's like a cool story or fun story about you and your roommates, or you and one of your roommates?
So I met Cole my junior year of high school. Met Alex when we first started playing baseball together in 7th grade. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's been some time, and that's the one that's a musician. Man, the one thing me and my roommates always say is that if somebody would just sit there and follow us around with a camera, we'd be rich. Better than the Kardashians.
Yeah.
More entertaining. There's never a dull moment. I'd honestly say, though, probably just driving around with Alex. It's an experience every time. Biggest drive was probably to Chicago or where was that? I want to say it was Cincinnati. It was Dayton, Ohio. That was a fun trip. Yeah, but always a trip with those guys. So, but I'd have to say the trips, the music trips.
Do you like living with roommates, or do you like being on your own? Have you done both, and would you recommend one over the other?
I've actually never lived without roommates.
Okay.
Be scared to live alone. I don't know. It's a big move.
Yeah, I've just roommates. Like you get stuff to do. Technically, they'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this thing." You're like, all right, well, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna go do it with like you can probably pretty much almost call. There's always that option, but then you kind of don't have all of the space to your own, but there's pros and cons. Right. I was just curious if you're like, actually, if I'd recommend being with roommates if you had a choice. I was just curious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool. So you moved to Indy, obviously, and you were kind of scared to do it, I'm sure, a little bit, but like you had the buddies going into it, right? Or were they already down there? Like, I'm curious about the friend aspect, because I'm sure there might be some safety. Like, I might be scared to go down there, but at least I got my roommates or my friends are there.
Got it. No, the cool thing is that Cole had already went to IUPUI the last 2 years, and our other buddy Aaron, who used to live with us, he moved back up to Elkhart, but he had been going to Butler. So they had already been down here, but they were actually moving into a house. Me and my other roommate, Alex, were not even actually thinking about moving to Indy. But about 2 weeks before I was, like I said, after I signed my classes for IUSB, my dad asked me why I don't move to Indy. I thought, that's a pretty good idea, So I went and talked to Alex about it, and he went and talked to his dad about it. And his dad he jumped out of the chair. And he's like, yes, do it. Go. Get out of my house. So he was pretty enthused about it. So Alex stayed up there for a little while longer. I moved down in about a week after making that decision. I moved in with Cole and Aaron. So, and then Alex came down later. But I wouldn't say I was nervous at all. I was just ready to get out of Elkhart and move somewhere more exciting.
Yeah, I believe that. I can see that. What would you say if I'm like a person who's somewhat similar shoes and there's this city where maybe I have a friend, or there's just something that appeals to moving, but I'm like really nervous about a new environment or making friends, like what would you say to them?
Oh, I'd say do it. Just make the move. Just jump around. In my opinion, move around. Go see things. One thing I always say is people kind of freak out if, you're younger like us and someone's just like, oh, they put their life on hold for 6 months. Save up a little bit of money. Make sure you have enough money. That is the one thing. Don't go and be broke. You gotta make sure you're stable enough, obviously. Make sure you have living arrangements. Make sure you have somewhere to work. That was my biggest thing. I made sure I had somewhere to work before I moved here. I had a job that I was going to start. And I'd say, so get everything you need. Make sure all your ducks are in a row, and then just go. Because if you have the chance to move around and go see new things, do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. What's something that like makes you smile / like you really passionate? Is there something you're really passionate about, like kids, the homeless, world hunger, peace, sports? Like what makes you like really happy when you either talk about it or like when you do something?
I would honestly say sports. Sports is my biggest thing. That's actually what I was going to college for. I was going for sports marketing and management. So yeah, definitely a big thing. I think a little bit deeper probably because, growing up, going to those Notre Dame football games, those were my happy place. It's where, all the families together, you're always in a good mood, So that was something that our family bonded with. So I think that's why that's a big thing to me.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite sports memory? Like playing, like for me, it's like playing catch with my dad.
Right.
Like throwing the football around like his little tyke,
Yeah.
But do you have like I always remember 6th grade basketball rec league. We were really tight that year. Or do you have like one of those memories of just like 2006, like when I went to Notre Dame football, or, do you have one of those like moments?
Yeah. So the one thing I always remember is my dad traveled a lot growing up. But he always made the effort. He was always there, running around, coming to games when he had already been out of town, just driving straight into the game. No matter how busy he was, he'd get home just in time, pick us up, and he would always take us to the batting cage for an hour before every single game. So, So that was always a big thing. That was his effort. So that's always nice to remember.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did like C League basketball in college, and we had like this we played this team that showed up in suits.
What?
And like legit suits, and they had like these fake corded phones, and they were trying to like pretend to trade stocks. And then we played them again that season, and they what'd they do? Oh, they had like suntan lotion. They were just squirting all over the court.
Oh my god.
They
What?
They were dicking around, and they never won a game, but they did it on purpose. And it was just like, we're trying to like play, and then we ended up winning that year, and we got these shirts that are like intramural basketball champs, but it doesn't say C League. So the next season I went to like go coach basketball in, one of the top basketball camps in for like 8th grade kind of high school kids or whatever.
Okay.
And that like I'm playing basketball against all the other coaches and stuff, and all of them play high school, or they play high school basketball that they actually played in college. And I'm just wearing this like intramural league champs, shirt, but they don't know it's like C League. I just told them I'm from Indiana. So like, oh my God, like none of them wanted to play me in 2K basketball, the video game, because they just thought, oh my God, he's from Indiana. He has to be good at sports. But so everyone's like, dude, like, why? I thought you were good. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I was getting worked out there.
Oh man.
Oh well. But yeah, like I'll always remember the like playing catch as a kid, or those baseball memories. You never forget those.
Definitely.
Stuff like that.
Definitely
not. How has mental health played a role either in your life or your family's or your friends? And you don't have to be specific, but I'm just curious what your interaction with anxiety or depression or bipolar or just general, maybe heavy doubts about moving or, you know, just talk about a tough time if you can, or just something that someone kind of went through.
Yeah. So mental health, obviously, first thing that you bring up. My grandmother was actually diagnosed with dementia a little while back. So, obviously she's still doing well. She's doing her best. She's doing great for where they are at the moment. Takes this medicine. What's that?
For people who don't know, excuse me. For people who don't know, can you say what dementia is?
Yeah. So basically, just memory fading a little bit. It's a little bit harder for you to remember things, and
okay.
Yeah. So
is it terminal at all? I can't
No,
remember. There's one that's like Alzheimer's or something. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, so she's doing fine. We're helping her figure it out. My grandpa's a huge help. Takes care of her all the time. She's become a little sassy since she has it's like whatever she wants to say, she's gonna say, which is really funny because my grandmother is such a sweet lady and she would never talk back to somebody, but here and there she'll just snip at you a little bit and it's just funny. She'll just start laughing about it because at this point she's like, you know what, I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Right.
It's fun.
But
yeah, she's doing good. Working on it. It's definitely something different, something you got to adapt to, especially being as far away as I am. I used to have to get an update on her before I would come home because I wanted to know what I needed to work on. Sometimes you got to help her with the conversation a little bit. But yeah, so it's a little bit harder because I have to get updates on what I need to do because I don't get to see her too often. Yeah, it works out.
Yeah. So if what is something that you always do for like one of your friends or somebody when they're struggling? Like, do you have like a go-to thing you do, thing you say that you believe like I'm doing my best here. This is what I think is the best thing, whether you're texting them all the time, whether you're spending time with them, buying them things like, hey, I'm going to buy your dinner kind of thing.
Right.
Do you have a go-to thing or thing you've noticed that you do that you really think you're like, that's always the thing I end up doing for people that they end up struggling. And I'm like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Just let them know you're present. Let them know you're there. That's one thing that I always try to do is just, hey, you need to figure this out. Whatever I can do, basically, I'll help you out with. Just giving a hand, basically, not as much.
Mm-hmm.
You do different things. Everybody does different things, but one thing you can always do is even if you can't help much, if you're just present, if you're just there, and they know that they're not figuring it out on their own. If you could help in any little way, just do so. Yeah.
That's really good. And quality time is one of my top love languages. Right. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the love languages and stuff, but quality time is like one of my top ones. So we could be staring at paint drying as long as I'm spending time with my people, Whereas some people it's like, oh, it's really nice when they do stuff for me. When they take out the trash, when they help buy my groceries. That could be a different love language. Anyway, right. I think that's a great strategy. Yeah. Just being present, because some people they don't do anything.
Yeah. Exactly. You could sit there. There are certain things you're kind of sitting there. That's their problem, and you're just like, well, I mean, there's nothing I can do to help out with that. That's kind of how that is. But still, if you're just there and just present, like I said, maybe something will come along and you can just help out a little bit, or just maybe just them not knowing that they're not alone.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you have like a motto or a mantra or something like that like, and I'll even throw in the caveat of like, if not a caveat, but just like the advice that you've gotten that's been really helpful, either recently or just historically, where you're like, oh yeah, that person told me that, and that's actually really good advice. Or don't sweat the small stuff, kind of like a motto. Do you have one of those?
So one thing that I actually saw a little while ago that was really cool is the motto, everybody's moving forward. Even if you're a little further back, maybe it just means you're about to boost. So, take your time. Take your time at where you're at. Make sure, and just as long as you're making little steps, that other, motivational picture you see a lot of times is a guy walking up the stairs and every stair says like fail or mistake. Just build on those. So that was one thing I saw, is that even though you're back right now, you're probably just building up to slingshot past all of them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Slingshot, baby.
Yeah. Slingshot, engage.
That's from Ricky Bobby.
Right?
Oh
yeah. Television.
Yeah. Engage. I love that movie.
Great movie.
What's your favorite movie of all time? Do you have one?
Oh man. It's gotta be. I was actually talking to a friend at work about this. Give me a second, but it's gotta be an Adam Sandler movie. Has to be.
Like Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison.
Exactly the two I was thinking at the moment.
Yeah. Step Brothers is one of my top favorite. Anything with Will Ferrell, I love that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Back for that
one's really
for that saying, I was about to say ELE from Jackie Moon. Everybody love everybody.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, semi-pro.
Gosh, I gotta rewatch that. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Classic.
It's always interesting when Steve Carell and Will Ferrell do like roles that are the opposite, like where they do the serious movies. Have you seen like the one? I think it's Stranger Than Fiction. Have you seen that?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Will Ferrell, this author, is writing a book, and it actually is his life.
Okay.
And I think he either starts noticing he can hear voices, and it's actually the narrator's life, or it's the narrator's voice, and he's trying to find the book because I think it's something like he becomes aware that what she's saying is happening, right?
It's being written.
And so then she's like, well, how does the book end? And she's trying to end his life, basically, or like, how does she wrap the book up, right?
Oh God.
And so he's trying to like figure out where she is and like what's going on. I don't know. It was a really good movie. And
That's
then
crazy.
Steve Carell did one where he's like a stepdad or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I like Stranger Than Fiction better, but it's just, or like he did Foxcatcher, Steve Carell, that one like wrestling coach.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I always think it's interesting how you can, I guess that's being an actor, right? You can play multiple roles, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not for me.
One person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, let's see, where are we at here? I had some notes. Let's do this. Let's do, I'll have some, we'll kind of wrap up with, I'll have like 5 questions for you, like kind of a quick hit fun stuff.
Okay.
And then I have a ending segment thing that we do that I think is kind of cool that I'm doing, but I'll explain it once we do the questions. But
okay.
What is the best bar or restaurant that you've been to?
Bar or restaurant?
Yeah.
Man.
In case you don't really drink. I wasn't really
Oh no, I do.
aware. Okay.
Bar or restaurant?
Yeah.
Way down here.
There's like Brothers, Kilroy's.
Yeah. Those are a little heavy. I'm gonna say Tin Roof. That's always our go-to.
Tin Roof. Okay. It's got the Mitch Boyer seal of approval.
That's right.
5 stars. All right. That's nice. There's one bar. I think it's in, my buddy told me about it. It's in Spain, but it's actually like, they have one over here where it's like stock prices.
Okay.
And so every like 30 minutes or whatever, all of the prices of the drinks go down, like just crash.
Mm-hmm.
But then based on what people are buying, the prices will go hike up or like go down because nobody's buying XYZ drink.
Oh,
but every like 30 minutes, it just crashes. So everybody rushes to the bar.
That'd be awesome. But wow, you'd be waiting a while. That sucks.
Yeah. What's your yeah? Well, what's side question? 1B is, do you have like your drink of choice?
Absolutely. Probably tequila press.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do most people know how to make it?
No.
That sucks.
Yeah. But you tell everybody because it's very simple. You just tell them, and most people, if you're a decent bartender and you can't make a decent tequila press off of just hearing it the first time, you should probably go home. Because, all it is, tequila, 7, lime. Or soda.
That's easy.
Yeah. It's just a mix. Yeah. But, you press the limes a certain way, so I will give them that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That'll take a couple months of bartending school.
Yeah.
Wrong pressure.
It's fantastic.
That's good. I'll have to get that next time I go out.
Try it. It's good.
You're trapped on an island. Who do you want to be trapped on the island with? But it has to be a celebrity.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
I don't have to think about that question.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have your favorite performance of hers, or just from Friends?
Friends. No, but
Okay.
I've seen all her stuff. Just go with it with Adam Sandler. It's very funny.
Yeah. You can have him like visit or something like that, but
sure.
you'll have to live with her. Okay.
Fine.
I just would do. Bear Grylls sounds super practical, but I feel like I'd get really annoyed really quickly.
Oh yeah. Probably.
Like, dude, I don't have to drink my pee, dude. Like, we
got water.
It's not that bad,
right?
All right, you get to go back in time and relive any moment in history.
Oh man, I feel like that's a question that everybody thinks about, but when asked by somebody else, you don't know the answer.
That's a good point.
Man, I'm gonna say my graduation night of high school. Got to hang out with a lot of friends, or my grad party.
Yeah,
a lot of friends, a lot of family, just an overall good time when everybody's in one place.
Oh yeah, that's good. Man, now I got to think of that. I was thinking more historical. I feel like I'd want to be like.
Are you talking in just my life or ever?
Oh, I don't know. I think that's way more practical. Let me think about that then.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good. Gosh, dude, graduation was good, but I think it was like my 14th or 15th birthday.
Yeah.
I had like all of my football friends.
Uh-huh.
It was like 14 of us. And then like we all did like a huge Madden tournament.
Okay.
And it was just like everybody, we had like 4 TVs and like 4 different consoles, and everybody's playing each other. And we got like, I went to like the dollar store and got like 8th place prize. And like, I got all these prizes and stuff. And then we went to Crackers for comedy.
Yeah.
So it was a sick party. Oh, okay. Who's your favorite Notre Dame player
of all time? Jeff Samardzija.
Ooh, that's underrated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you probably would have been able to actually watch him play.
What's that?
You probably watched him play.
Yeah, a few times.
Okay.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts on Brady Quinn?
Brady Quinn was great.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good quarterback. I liked him at Notre Dame. Didn't know that he was going to crap the bed in the NFL, though. Definitely didn't see that coming. He had the greatest 2-year career of anybody.
Yeah. What's his face? Was it Dan? No, I'm trying to think which one. Was Dan Marino was Pitt, right? Joe Montana played for Notre Dame. Am I thinking that right?
Joe Montana played for Notre Dame, correct.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
Okay.
That's a cop-out, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
most
people. Or what's the dude? One of the horsemen. You know, like the people who won the Heisman or were really good was Newt Rockne. Is that one of them?
Rockne was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably choose that then.
Yeah. No, I'm changing my mind. Rudy.
Rudy. Oh my gosh, how did we dance around that?
Right.
Man. Yeah. Oh, I'm changing my event. I'm gonna go watch Rudy play football.
Man.
That's funny. Well, do you have a secret talent?
Do I have a secret talent?
Mm-hmm. You can play an instrument, I bet.
No.
Can you play?
I can.
Dude, you don't play the piano?
Dude, I can like half play the bass my roommate taught me. But not well at all. Secret talent?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're. I don't know.
Are you bilingual?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Man, I'd have to think about that one. I don't know if there's anything funky I can do.
That's all right. Man. Oh, and then can you replace? Oh no, not
Time
can
out.
you?
I can burp my ABCs.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Man, you probably like get all the ladies for that one, right? Like everyone's just talking like, "Excuse me, I'm just gonna do this real quick," and I was like, "Oh my god."
No. My girlfriend, I don't think knows that I can do it. I should probably surprise her and
yeah,
see if she still wants to be my girlfriend.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's the next step in the relationship, right? Right before moving in,
Hands down.
each other.
Hands down.
Yeah, it's right before that. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, this is the last thing.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a person. You could be your girlfriend, your best friend, your parents. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But you're going to talk about a person and thank them / talk about how they've impacted your life in a positive way.
Okay.
So, hey, Janice, thanks so much for blah, 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 blah. And just talk about them. And then you're going to share the episode with them and or at least just tell them that you did that.
Yeah.
And then they have to listen to it.
Okay. So definitely going to be my mom and dad, hands down.
Okay.
They've supported me through anything and everything. I got very lucky to be able to have them as my parents. Support you through anything. Supported me when, everywhere from when I wanted to quit baseball, start playing lacrosse, where I wanted to go to college, all the way up to me going to the Marine Corps. Very supportive. A lot of parents don't really think or support their kids if they want to go through that. Obviously a lot will, but that's a very tough thing to be supportive of. So just the feeling that I could always talk to them and they weren't ever gonna think any less of me or turn me down. They were always going to be there to help. My dad, like I said, traveled a lot. So him coming straight in from town, showing up 2 innings into a game because he just sped home to get there. He never missed a game. He always was there if he could be there. So I remember he used to drive from Pittsburgh to Elkhart to get to the game last minute and get there on time. So that was always nice that he always made the effort to be around. My mom was always around. So we didn't ever have to go to any after school programs or anything like that. My mom was always there to get us off the bus. So just her being there as well, making sure food was on the table. She's the MVP for sure. But yeah, just extremely, extremely lucky to have them supporting me through moving to Indianapolis and everything like that as well. So definitely love them for that.
Dude, that's awesome. It's really underrated how parents can impact a person's life sometimes, or, obviously, I have really awesome parents too. And it's like it's kind of hard to express all of the love you have towards a person, regardless if they're your girlfriend or your parents, but there's something beautiful about that, man. I'm really happy that you had that upbringing and that you had 2 supportive parents to kind of guide you and kind of be there for you. I mean, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
Well, that's all I got, man. I'm really just happy that we got to get on a call and stuff. You've supported me in many, many ways, just even through the DMs and stuff. And It means a lot for anybody to be a part of what I'm trying to do and just raise awareness for mental health and just try to make people feel less alone. And then if I can empower you just to realize you got a story, even if you don't think you do,
Right.
which,
Absolutely.
just it means a lot for you to be a part of this. So
Yeah, your content's great. Your gear is great. You're an awesome dude, very genuine. So definitely somebody you should work with.
Thanks, man. We'll be doing some modeling shortly. I'll text you about kind of when when you're free and stuff. So because I have a lot of inventory, so
Yeah,
there needs to be photos, and I know you can dominate the photos.
I'm
So
there.
all right, man. Well, hey, do me a favor and kill it the rest of the day. All right.
Yes, sir. You as well. I'll definitely be getting with you for some new stuff.
All right, man. All right. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Hey everybody, this is Ryan from the Classic Buffalo Podcast. Wanted to take a second to talk about Anchor, how I'm actually making this podcast happen. Super happy that I'm partnering with them. So, Anchor is actually the easiest way to make a podcast. I've done my research. This is basically the best way. I promise. It's going to give you everything you need in one place for free, which is the best part. It's going to have tools, so you don't really need a fancy schmancy recording guy. Anchor's going to be helping you out there, and then they're going to distribute the podcast everywhere to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, everything. And then you can also make money with basically no minimum listenership, which is kind of rare. So hop on Anchor as soon as you can. Thanks. So I just got done talking with Mitch. Shout out, man. Thanks so much again for, supporting me. You're such a solid guy, and anytime I would post stuff on like Instagram, either like personally or whatever, you would always like, hey, and you'd always have a comment and something positive to say, or always be on my side with things, man. So thank you so much, and yeah, it means a lot. I think I empathized with like that one moment where you're just kind of standing almost like in a building or something's going on where you're supposed to be somewhere, and you look out the window, or you just have this wave of mindfulness that comes over you, and you just go, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, I should be doing XYZ. It's such a hard thing to deal with, because sometimes you feel trapped, or you can feel that and you're like, well, I don't know how to get out of here. I just know I don't want to be here. And I felt that quite a few times, and especially in my job, or not my current one necessarily, but just of course across my time of living, being in certain situations and being like, I don't know where I want to be. I just know I don't want to be where I'm at. And he had the fortitude, if you will, to leave that situation, and he took that leap. And yeah, he's such a solid guy, so I always wish him the best. And I also just, for me, a learning experience about dementia and having to constantly be learning and being cognizant of kind of always evaluating where that person's at. I'm not sure if I'm remembering right, but there's one disease that I think you can die from because I think that's it, where you can kind of forget to, I don't know if it's breathe or your heart beats or something like that. You can actually die from that. So it's just a difficult thing to deal with, especially, and it can be also hard, not only even if you were able to visit somebody very often, the person can remember different things, or so it can just be even that. But then the long distance, being in Indianapolis and that person's up north, it's kind of hard. You have to maybe adjust even more so. But yeah, man, talk about having a cool dad driving from Pittsburgh to see your kids' game. I have a very similar relationship with my dad, and he's always gone to bat with me. Just when I've had, one of my favorite stories is from when the PlayStation 4 had just come out. I think this was maybe in college or something, and I had buyer's remorse because I think it was the most expensive thing I had ever bought with my own money. And I regretted it the next day, and I went to return it at a store. And they said, well, you could trade it in. And I was like, I've had this for less than 24 hours and you're saying it's used. And I just was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I played it twice. And they wouldn't give me my money back. And my dad came over and he was like, all right, so let me get this straight. There's if it's broken, you'll give us a brand new one, right? And the employee was like, yeah, that's how it works. He goes, all right, well, I'm going to go break this PlayStation outside of your establishment. You're going to give me a brand new one, and then I'm going to return that one. And he's like, don't do that. Yeah, we'll give you your money back. It's funny. My dad's just so savage, and he's sometimes his confidence I'm envious of. So there's just something about having a parental support system, and not every family situation's perfect. Everybody's got their downfalls, but then there's also some really good characteristics that I think both Mitch and I can draw from our parents, and especially our dads, being such a good part of our lives. So shout out to my dad and shout out to Mitch's dad. You guys, I think you guys did a good job with us. So yeah, I just a few comments here and there, but I think this is episode, I can't remember what episode we're on, but we're chugging along. If you want to be a part of it, DM me, get a hold of me. You don't have to feel like you have a story, because I know you do. If you've made it to this point, just by listening. Most of these people, I don't know about the things we're going to talk about. And that's evidence enough that these things just naturally are a part of people's lives. And sometimes I want to give platform to that. And I want to give platform, even if we talk about fish or dogs or movies or, there's just certain stuff that is inherently comes with anxiety and depression. How to be yourself, how to move to a city to start your career, how to get your job, how to drop out of school, how to do XYZ. There's always like mental aspects of everything you want to do in life. And if it's whether I'm getting you from a 3 to a 6, 1 being like terrible to 10, like perfect, on fire, passionate, loving everything in life. If it's from a 3 to a 6 or a 4 to a 5, I'm making a difference. So, let's just get you on. Let's just talk. And I think it's valuable. And what I'm doing is just giving a platform for conversation and casual. I think I might have mentioned this already before, but what I want to do for people is that I have this feeling that some people spend 7 days a week, if not 5 at least, during a work day, either doing something they don't like or not talking about the thing that they enjoy or not being themselves. So when you're around me, you put on the emotional sweatpants, you start just share what you want, talk about what you want. You have that platform with me as a friend. And that's what I want this podcast to be. So thank you so much for listening. It really helps if you either leave a review or share it with a friend, like it, whatever you want. Or just say, hey, Ryan, you're doing a good job. I always love words of affirmation. So anyway, guys, I'm glad you're alive. If you made it this far, world record of being alive. You did it. It's another day in the books. So take it easy, and I'll see you next time.